Hello boys and girls, welcome back for another lesson of biology. Today we are going through lesson 39 of chapter 28, the classwork 28.2. Before you start watching the video, remember to like and subscribe my channel and also share the video to your classmates. Let's start. The diagram below shows the DNA fingerprinting of some members in a family. The question A1 is very simple. Can you name the technique that is used to separate the DNA fragments in the DNA fingerprinting? You should know the technique is called gel electrophoresis. So let's write it down. Gel electrophoresis. Chinese 凝膠電泳，好似游泳咁樣，啲 DNA 游水嘛，泳啊，游泳啊。Question 2. Can you describe the principle of the techniques? Gel electrophoresis 嘅原理啦。First of all, you have to tell me that DNA, they are not neutral. They have charges, and they have negatively charged. So they are negatively charged because of the phosphate group, so you get the first mark. And then the second thing is, when will this negatively charged DNA move? They will move when there is a positive pole and a negative pole. DNA fragments, they will move from the negative pole to the positive pole under an electric field. So this is the second part. Under an electric field, the DNA fragments move to positive pole. You get the second mark. And the third mark is, why would some DNA fragments move more? Why would some DNA fragments move less? This is because in the gel, there is molecular space, and this causes the shorter fragments to move faster. Because they're shorter, they're moving easier, they're lighter than the longer fragments. Longer fragments, they are bigger in size, 鈍啲啦, so they tend to move slower. This is the reason. And then you get the final third mark. Question B. State the relationship between the following children and the parent. Explain your answer. Let's take a look at child 1. Is child 1 biologically related to mom and dad, and why? First of all, let's highlight and circle the common DNA binding on child 1 and mom. So this is the common binding for child 1 and mom. This is also the common binding for child 1 and mom. So the first conclusion is, half of the DNA band of child 1 is common to those in mom. And then let's take a look at the other half of the banding. For child 1, the other half of the banding is common to dad, right? So the second conclusion is, the other half of the DNA band is common to those of daddy. So the relationship of child 1 and the parent is, child 1, it must be the child of both mom and dad. They are biologically related. 親生嘅. Question B. State the relationship between the child 2 and that of parent. Explain your answer. In order to answer the question, we have to use the same technique as B1. First of all, look at child 2 and mom to see if there is any common DNA binding. So the common DNA binding is found in here. This is the first common binding, the second common binding, and the third common binding between child 2 and mommy. So you can write down, half of the DNA band in child 2 is common to those in mommy. You get 1 mark. And then let's take a look at child 2 to see if child 2 have any common binding with daddy. Alright, so let's take a look. Is this common binding? Nope, this is not a common binding. Alright, let's take a look at this. Is this a common binding with daddy? Nope, again, not common binding. So the second point you can write is, the other half of the DNA band from child 2 is not common to those in daddy. So nothing in common for the other DNA band. So you can conclude, half of the DNA band common in mom, but the other half does not common in daddy. Child 2 is the child of mom but not daddy. You get the final mark. 可能係舊嘅婚姻生出嚟嘅小朋友，或者可能係婚外情生出嚟嘅小朋友。Question C. By referring to the event that occurs during the gamete formation, that means making the sperm and the ovum, explain why the pattern of bands in DNA fingerprint of child 1 and 3, they are different. So child 1 and 3, they are brother and sisters. But why don't they have the exact same banding? They are the child of mommy and daddy. Why don't they have the exact same banding? Alright, so this question requires you to take a look at. First of all, child 1 and 3, they are slightly different because they have genetic variation. Brother and sister may not be exactly the same. And then in the gamete formation, what happens? You have to tell me in the gamete formation, making sperm and ovum, there is some causes of genetic variation. So the first mark you can get is, tell me that the offspring, child 1 and 3, they have genetic variation. You get the first mark. And then the second mark is, start to tell me what happens in the gamete formation process. That is the meiotic cell division. So in meiotic cell division, what happens? Why would there be genetic variation? Because there is independent assortment of homologous chromosomes. So you can get 1 mark like this. Or you can tell me another cause, that is the crossing over of the non-sister chromatid of homologous chromosome. So you can also get this as 1 mark, either one. And then what can you tell me is that the gamete, the sperm and ovum formed, that they are having different genetic combination. And last but not least, many different genetic combination gametes, they will try to form and fuse together randomly to give zygote. So random fertilization of gametes cause genetic variation in, write it down, in zygote. So you get the final 1 mark. In total, you will get 4 marks for this question.